everybody, how is it going today? And I'm not going to mention the weather because, well, there's nothing worth mentioning, to be fair. So here we go. I'm going to get straight into the tile and make a start. So what have I got today? Okay, I'm going to use one of the Sanntangle light tiles. Doesn't mean light in colour, just means it's a slightly it's a slightly lower GSM than the others, because it means we can still ink with it and things. Because look, there you go, I've inked on it. You can splash some water on it, look. But it's just a little bit lighter, so if you're making cards and things, it's not going to be sort of as heavy as you're working on that. But it still does exactly the same job, just slightly different colours as well. But here we go. So yeah, bit of a inking on the background there. But what I want to do today is a little bit of a grid. Now, I know some of you are immediately saying, oh, grids, what on earth? I don't want you to worry about that at all. It's going to be a grid, but it's going to have a few little bits of things in there. So I don't want you to, immediately turn off. I know sometimes some of you love grids. So I have to make sure that everybody gets something that they enjoy. So if you're ready, I'm going to put a border around the outer edge. Hang on a second. Along we go, up and down there. Okay, it's going to double that line there. All right. Okay, grid. So it doesn't matter where this is going to be. It's just a nice little bit in the background that I want to sort of keep there. I'm going to transfer to pencil now because I don't want the grid to be there when I've finished the particular piece. So first thing I want to do is find the middle. There's my middle-ish, okay? And then either side, I'm going to create, I want 3 squares. So I'm going to balance up. There you go, look. So I've got 3 squares, or I will have when I draw it. And then the same here, look. 3 squares. So I've got 6 all the way along. Turning it round then. Let's mark it in the middle-ish. And then on this side, 3. And on this side, 3. Okay? So, easy done. Just going to bring this in. And I'm going to line it up. And I'm going to draw in those lines. Again, with pencil. Because these lines won't be seen when we've done the final thing. Okay, same with that one. Ooh. And let's turn it round and to the next one. I'm just lining up my edge of my ruler there with the tile so I can get it sort of as straight as I can. All right, there we go. Okay, bit of a grid. So let's have a look. We've got a definite centre, so let's just pull out a little bit. See, so I've got 1, 2. If I go into, yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around, I've got this definite square here. So I'm just going to mark my centre, so I know. Yes, Rose, I'm using colour cloud ink. Just give me a second, and I can tell you what colour it is. Here we go. There you are, basil leaf. All right, not loads of it, just a little bit because it's quite a strong colour. And then I've spritzed it and just left it to dry on its own. And again, not too much because you see it's not changed the shape in any way. It's just giving me that little bit of a bit in there, okay? Okay, don't worry if you've missed more in. We've got 6 along and 6 down. So bit of a grid and I've marked the middle, okay? Next thing then, I'm going to come in the middle. Let's move this. Oh, Lynn, take a deep breath. You've got this. You won't see the grid when you've done it. Be fine. Be absolutely fine. Okay, so I'm going to take, there you go, this first one here. And I'm going to put a loop that goes through diagonally in the middle there. Okay? And then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to do one there. Okay, so this is like an organic flower, isn't it? Just so happens that we're using a grid. There's a little bit of structure. And then this one. There we go. Okay. Can put just a little line in. Not going to go too far up with it. So it's definitely in the middle. And then that way. Okay. And then looking at this, about halfway, I'm going to come in with a little curve, or double curve, and a double curve. Now don't sort of try and make it completely round, we don't need to worry about that. So mine's not going to be. But okay, you can do that if you want, it's fine. And then I'm going to come in and put some little lines in on those sections there. So, around as we go. There you are. And that one. Okay, there we go. So far so good. All right, so let's have a look then. I'm going to start with this one here. What I'm going to do is, rather than keep it as a square, I'm going to turn it slightly and I'm going to follow that line almost till the corner and then bring it down. See, like that. And then I'm going to go the other way, and as before, when I'm almost to the corner, I'm going to bring it that way so it's sort of taken off those two edges there. Okay, so let's go out a bit. We've got that. So I'm going to follow all the way along this line now, and I'm going to do the same. Coming along, taking off that corner, and then coming along and taking off that corner. And the same with this one, along, take off the corner, and along, and take off the corner. So for any point you ever really want to do, you know, proper or symmetrical-ish leaves, this is the way to do it. Okay, so this time I've got 3 going across here, so I want to do it the opposite direction. So I'm going to upside down it all, you know, put it a bit more at an angle. And then this time I'm going to take off that corner and that corner. Let me just turn it back around so you can see what I've done there. You see, I've got a mirror image. Okay, and then turning it round. Oh, I'm glad, Sue, you've got your post. Hopefully we've got it sorted now, and people have either got their posts and all. It's all been sorted out. It's been quite a week for us, hasn't it? But we get there in the end. Okay. So don't rush this, because if you do, you find that this corner or this curve ends up being a little bit thinner, and we want a real nice sort of, you know, chunky kind of a leaf design like that. Okay. So I'm going to repeat this across the top there. So the first 3 are going to be pointing this way, and this way they're going to go that way. So here we go. And I know this is a bit wider than this, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to follow along with the same process, putting those shapes in like that. So whatever size grid you've got, whether it's all completely the same or not, that's what we're going to do. So see, first 3 are pointing that way. Oh, Sue, I know that the new quilt. It's going to be good. Oh, I hope so. Anyway, I'm really pleased with it. How does it, Charlotte? I don't know. I don't shop at John Lewis. Okay, again, just, you know, make sure that you're following it round. You see now, look, I'm going in the opposite way. All right, so if I turn it round, and I'm going to do the others. And again, if you feel it better to do that line first because you're sort of in the right angle for that. Rose, you could do if you want, but I like to have the complete flow of the line. You see, like that. So I've got the shapes. So then I've got these 2 here. So I'm going to do these 2 here and these 2 here. So same thing again. So if you want to do that line first, and then that line, do you know, whatever works for you. As long as we've got something that looks a little bit similar. Okay. Turn it round. And this one. There we go. And then again, just taking off that corner. We've got that going on. Okay. And along. And along. Joanne, no, I've not run out of the basic shapes. Well, there's some on the website anyway. I don't know about Hobby Maker. So there we go, 3 there. Okay. And then this one here. And that goes there. And then that one. Just before. And then this way. And along. And then this way. As it works, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with this row. Oh, Joe, I haven't had a chance to look at all my messages yet. So, I'll have a look after this. And along. There we go. And then this way. As it works. There we go. And then along here. Around. And down. And of course the last row there. Along there. And there. And then this one. Down there. Down there. And then this side is going this way. So again, don't get all carried away at this point and think, oh, I've only got 2 left. We still want to keep that shape if we can. Working it round. There you go. Okay, so all our pencil lines, they're not going to be there because that's what we wanted here, these little shapes going on. So okay, let's have a look now. We've got a row sort of here and a row around here. So I'm going to start with this row first. Well, let's start with this corner one. I'm going to do this round. And I'm going to come up and create a loop on the end. Fill it in. So I'm going to do this one at the same time. I'm going to do all the loops first. See this one? Again, it's going to face that way, isn't it? And then if I go this way, I can do one there. And then one. And then this one. You see? And then if I turn it round, this one. So they're all sort of pointing outwards. And they've got that little bobble on the end there. And again. In there. There we go. First point. So now we know where those shapes are. I'm going to come in a little bit more. And I'm going to come into this one and create a little loop that way. Let's fill it in. And then one that way. And then this way. So all of those I'm going to go round and put in that kind of shape. So, you know, just turning it round as I go. Adding those little bobbles in. Don't rush with it. It's quite an easy little pattern to do, so let's just enjoy filling those bits in. Same with this one. And round we go. Putting them in. And this way. So although the pattern in the background is disappearing now, it's still there and it's just giving a little bit of interest to this little design here. Let's have a look at that. You see? Okay, so far so good. So if we can, let's bring out a little line in the middle of each one. Just going to put a dot on it. So from the middle and a dot. You see it was coming up from that point there and a dot. Now you could go the other way, but sometimes you find that your lines don't always end up in the middle there. So if you start from that point, you know you're going to get it. There. And again, coming up. You see how that sort of wanders in. And around you go. So just sort of keeping it going, and we've got that kind of a design going on. It's very sort of botanical, isn't it, in a way? Yeah, Louise, I think so. And I think because I've got that green in, that's the way it's sort of feeling at the minute. Liking it. So I'm going to focus on these ones now. Let's come in there. And I'm going to continue from the point there. I'm going to create that shape around there. And around there. See, quite close. Oh, a rose. I don't know if I can tell you. It's one that's coming. It's not far out. It'll be here soon. And see, I'm going to put some bubbles in and fill in the gaps. There we go. Okay, I'm only going to do this on the corner ones. So let's turn it round. And again, look, in the corner. One that way. One that way. One that way. And then that way. In there. And I'm going to sort of put those bubbles in. And fill in the background there. I'm just going to round that off a little bit more there. There we go. And then to the next corner. Oh, Lynn, I think you heard pretty well. Some things I have to keep, you know. Can't tell you everything all the time. I have to keep some secrets. But it is nice, you know, not sometimes. I bet you were one that used to go and look for presents under the bed, weren't you? Okay, this is the last corner. And same again, like two there. And then either side again. And then start in the middle. And you know, if you find that you struggle to draw bubbles, see what I'm doing? I'm going around it a couple of times. That really, really does help it out. It really gives it a little bit of definition, so it's a really good one to sort of have a go at doing. Okay, there you are. So we've got one on each corner there. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in the same lines on this one here, but I'm not going to put the bubbles in. I'm going to come around and keep it going. And keep it going. till I get to the middle like this, and then I'm going to put a line through the centre like that. All right. So I'm going to do the same on sort of either side of the one that I've just done in the corner there. So depending on how thin you do your little spaces, depends on how many you're going to get in there. Okay, and the next one in here. So each time I'm following the shape, but still going back to the point every time. And then down through the centre if you can. And then this one. And this one. And of course just going to keep going. So it's probably enough. I know I've only got 2 on one side and 3 on another. Oh, I hope it's going to look good shaded. So we'll see in a minute. Now again, you've got these sections in the middles that if you wanted to, you could fill in with ink if you wanted, but I'm going to have a look at it in a minute and see what I think. Because I'm sure there's something else we could do with it. So I can't quite get the line in the middle, but I'm not worried about that. As long as it's sort of filled in with lines. There we go. Again, following the shape as much as you can. Going from point to point. And then this one. And then around. You see, sort of trying to fit them in as best I can there. And that gives me that. Okay, I'm going to just get rid of those pencil lines now. If you can still see them, I'm just going to remove them, we don't need them. Okay. And then looking at these last ones here, I'm going to come in with that line at the top there. And that one. And then we come with that design again. So a relatively sort of simple little shape today. So it's not too taxing. It's not going to be a serious challenge this weekend. But it's one that you can really switch off with and fill it in. Or maybe you want to do it again and add some different tangles. Maybe the colour at the back you could change if you're going to ink your tile. Do something a bit different. So we'll have a look at those little sections in a bit and do some shading on it. There we are. So adding those little lines in. Same with this one. Along we go. There it is. Let's have a little look at this. Okay. So as we said, we could actually come in and we can fill all these with black ink. I think I'm going to do that in that centre area. So I'm going to need something a little bit heavier than my 03, I would say. So I've got an 05 here. Would have preferred my brush, but I've got a 5. That's going to do the job. Here we go. Now this is immediately going to give it a little bit of sort of drama and make you really look at that centre, isn't it? And that's sometimes what we want. We want to draw attention to a certain part or a certain thing. Then you want to make sure it's got something worth looking at there. And again, could bring colour in there and fill the centrepiece in. Could do that, but let's take it a step at a time. So you can see, yes, you can have a plan and you can think this is what I'm going to do, but sometimes not having a plan and just sort of taking each little bit as you go could really help sort of, you know, move you on a bit, because if you overthink it too much, it can get a little bit, so you can get a bit stuck, you know, and if it's not quite working how you want it, you can be a little bit reluctant and changing it. So if you go with it and think, I'm not going to worry, is there a plan? Not really. There it is. Okay. So again, as I say, I could actually fill all of these little marks in, or these little bits underneath, with my black pen, but I'm not going to. I'm going to come in with it and I'm going to put a little bubble in and then fill it in. Okay, something a little bit different. Now, if your gaps are a little bit bigger, don't be afraid, you can put more than one bubble in. There you go, see, I've got a few in there. Let's go a bit bigger. Oh, if it lets me. There you go. See, I've got a few bubbles in there. And then, of course, this gap. Get a few in. So fill the space first, and then any bits that are left, come in with your black ink and fill them in. So that, again, it's going to give it a slightly different feel. There we go. Thank you, Tommy. Cup of tea time. I've worked really hard this week, actually. All the parcels from the last show. So, and of course they are busy making things for next week. So it's all go. And of course we've moved into the next door offices. And goodness me. So we've got to tidy up there, and we've had machinery moved and all sorts of things. So very busy here at HQ. I know the next week or so, Sarah's going to be joining us full time. So she's going to be making sure that the parcels get out on time and everything. So Leslie and I can focus on a few other things, and Tommy's going to be working with Sarah. So it's a bit more organised. See, just sort of, well, look at the difference that's made putting those little bubbles in. Sort of wandering around. It's quite nice actually getting a cup of tea, especially when I don't use tea bags particularly. I've got loose leaf tea and they have to make it in a strainer. I don't ask much. I'm not really a diva. But okay. All right. You see how that's sort of working its way around? Just filling bits in. But, as I say, you could actually come in and do that with black ink if you want straight away. But why do that when you can do this? Although I suppose you could do the black ink and then use a white gel pen or a silver or a metallic green and put some dots in afterwards. That could look quite nice. So there's lots of options. You can do what you like. It's your tile. There you are. So I'm just going to fill that bit in there. There we go. Come in with those sections. Okay. And in we go with the last few. I know some people as well will actually fill in as they go, and some people like to wait and do all the black afterwards. I just want to make sure that as I'm going around I'm filling it, because I don't want to have to come back and forget anything. Let's have a look at that. There we go. All right, not looking too bad at all, that one. It's nice, isn't it? And I'm glad actually that I've done the bubbles, because yeah, it just looks a bit different, doesn't it? So, okay, here we go. Let's get some pencil in there and see how it looks. So, starting in the middle, I'm going to bring in some pencil there, of course. And then let's do on either side. And I'm going to blend this as I go. Again, something I normally do, but let's do that today and see where we're heading. So, little bits as we go. Across the bottom. And then across the top, but I don't want them to meet. A little bit of a gap in between. So we've got that kind of thing, yeah. And I could bring my white pencil in there and just add a little bit in the middle, just to make sure that highlights work there. That's my first bit. So then a couple of ways of doing this, isn't there? We could come in and we could take the top and the bottom of each of these little spaces, and that would work lovely, and you get these sort of three-dimensional views as we're doing here. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to come in and I'm going to add my pencil around the outside of that shape, and you notice, look, I'm not going too light. Same. And then I'm going to do this one, and again, look, I'm on the inside, so it is almost like I'm doing top and bottom, but not quite. On this one. Okay. So then I take my I'm going to come in there and soften it off, but again, don't want to go too close to the middle, so controlling it and leaving it part way up. Okay. And again. And then on this side, I'm gonna work my way around. And in we go. You see how that very nicely softens out. I can see Lynn's trying her hardest. Well, Lynn, do you not want the surprise? Do you not? Let me tell you, well, one of the shows, I am going to be bringing a little bit of an underwater theme. I've got a lovely artist who's I've been working with on some stamps, and I've got some background stencils to match. So that's what I've used today, is one of those stencils, just to give it a go, just to make sure that we're happy with what it's doing, and I am. So absolutely, you need to get your swimming caps out and put your flippers on. Lynn, when is it? It's 26th, is that Wednesday? I know I'm on Sewing Street on Wednesday, but I'm on Hobby Maker as well. It's a bit of a busy day. So I think it's 10 and 12 on Sewing Street. I think it's 4 and 5, I think. But I don't know until I look at my schedule. I think that's what it is. Okay. So you can see, softening both edges. Coming around. Taking my time. Okay. Oh, look. There you go. So at least next week we don't have to swap tiles around or anything, because it's on Wednesday, so that's okay. All right. This one. You see, gently working my way around. And putting pencil on both sides like this, it just means that both sides get equal attention. Where it's got that little bit of heaviness around those lines. sort of work our way around. Okay, and I'm going to bring my white pencil in, and let's put that in along in the centres of those shapes. And again, I'm not being sort of really delicate with this. I'm actually getting some on there. And going in with it. Okay. And then back in with my pencil, just to be sure, I'm going to go over those lines. Just to make them a little bit darker. See, all three of them. Same with this one. All the way along there. So Elaine digging again. We have got a Halloween coming on the 20 something of August, so I have no doubt that there is going to be some kind of Halloween-y kind of hollow coming up. But that's all I'm saying on that. Okay, let's have a look at this. So again, just with my tortillon, I'm just going to soften that pencil off a little bit. Not too much. Just going to take away the harsh edge. Just a little bit. And there we go. Just sort of taking it in. Along we go. And there it is. We've got a little bit of an illusion-y kind of one going on there today, so looks quite 3D, doesn't it? So the darker you go, and this is the trick, the darker you go here. So if you wanted to, oh, hang on, I've tidied up. Oh no, I haven't. I've tidied up and just hidden my pencils. That's what it is. You could come in with. Just find it. My black pencil. And add a little bit in. Just on those edges. There we are. Just to give it a little bit more depth on the edge. This one. So this is a real nice one to do. So it's very simplistic in the way it's drawn, but when you start adding extra little bits and pieces into it, so being that I've got my colours out, let's add a touch of green in the middle there, just because I've got them there, might as well. There we are, just working it in. And just because I've shaded it doesn't mean I can't add colour. It's just going to be a tad more muted because it's got that grey underneath it. Just going to give it a little bit of a hint, isn't it? There we go. So there we go. It's all done and sorted. Goodness me, 361. We're still going, look at that. So okay, let's put our initials on there. And all done and sorted. So, oh, goodness me, what have we got next week then? As you know, Tuesday, Sunday, let's do Sunday first. Sunday, 7 o'clock is our Sanntangle. So that's our quilt that we're working on, which is the flowery one at the minute. And then of course, Tuesday, we've got tile 362. Wednesday, I'm down at Hobby Maker and Sewing Street all day. And Friday is our following tile. So, goodness me, busy week, plenty to get on with. So, all I've got left to say is have a lovely weekend, enjoy this one, and I will see you soon. Okay, everybody. So have a good one.